Good evening, folks, and welcome to the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, where we will discuss all things paranormal. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now, for lead investigator and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and co-host, Michael Del Toro.
What's up, my paranormal people? Welcome to episode 4 on this lovely Monday. I'm Eric Vanderlaan, team leader and your host for War Party Paranormal Radio. And over here, that way I have...
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Mike Del Toro. I'm a tech specialist and investigator with War Party Paranormal. And we got a super interesting episode. This is one you're definitely not going to want to miss. Eric, tell them what we're getting into tonight.
All right. Well, I just want to welcome everyone to our show. And real quick, our continued viewers who are watching, just want to say a big thank you and give you guys a shout out because we're getting
absolutely. Thank you.
We're getting some nice compliments from our show. So we only continue to keep going and, going better and better for each show. And we got a good one tonight. It's the Devil's Tree. And if you people don't know anything about the Devil's Tree, we're going to talk about a serial killer.
People?
Or maybe any people here. But if you like a serial killer story, a true story, we're going to give you a good one tonight, along with a little paranormal twist to it as well. Yes. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say, this tree and this park and the whole story wrapped around it. I mean, you're infusing true crime, a serial killer, paranormal activity that we've captured. And, there's been several books written on it. There's a lot of story behind it. And it originally all stems from Florida's first serial killer, Gerard John Schaefer. And he was a really twisted, sick individual. And believe it or not, he was an officer, a police officer during the time. And he was a police officer all throughout Florida. And
a teacher at one time.
Yes, correct. He was also a teacher. And I think he applied for a priesthood. And he was declined that for reasons unmentioned. So the story kind of goes that, he would murder women in pairs, younger women. And I don't think he was only, that was his only target. I think that there was some more stuff that a lot of people don't know. And there's some stuff out there that's still uncovered. But at Oak Hammock Park in Port St. Lucie is where this 150-year plus tree resides. And supposedly, he hung his victims from there, did some unspeakable things throughout this area, this wooded area, before it was a park back in the early 70s.
It's actually in competition with Ted Bundy.
Yeah, so later down the road, he became friends with Ted Bundy in jail. And they would compete, like who had more and victims and this and that. It was kind of twisted. But yeah, so we wanted to do a paranormal investigation out there to see if we could pick up anything.
What's up, JG? Justin T. Sorry. I was giving shout outs.
No worries. So we ended up going out to check it out. Joe and I did like a little scouting the first time. Didn't get a whole lot of activity. Got a little bit, got an EVP, got some stuff. And then we went out again with Eric, and we had some other people accompanying us.
It was crazy. That's because I was there, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
actually, because our guest was there, I think that's why.
Yes, we have somebody that's that we're going to be bringing on here in just a little bit. It's somebody that I reached out to in the beginning when I was starting to first look into it. And I would say that he is a specialist when it comes around the devil's tree. And Eric, what was your feeling about it? Like, what were your expectations, or getting out there or going out there or anything like that? Did it beat the expectations you had?
It exceeded, because I'm very skeptical about everything, and we were just getting crazy stuff that was relating to what actually happened there, and that's what was pretty crazy. I mean, we even had a psychic medium that was pointing out stuff that she didn't know about, so it was pretty wild. What I want to do next is run a quick intro so everyone can get a better perspective of what we're talking about, and then after the intro, we're going to bring in our guest. Sounds good?
Let's do it.
You ready to roll? All right, let's roll this thing.
Time that I'm doing a live paranormal investigation, and some of the things that we're picking up in the activity that we're getting is absolutely amazing.
Devil Tree, it stems really around one person, and that is Florida's first serial killer, Gerard John Schaefer. He was active in the late 60s, early 70s, until he was apprehended.
So this is the locals Devil Tree. This is the one with the cement patch, where it's believed that Schaefer tried to dig a hole in the tree to hollow it out to stuff the bodies in, or he also tried to, or he left behind satanic engravings. It was supposed to try to be burnt down and cut down, and they were unable to do it. I know that this tree is about 150 years old plus, and this is the one that draws all the attention from the people. So you can see all the wounds in the tree, you can see burn marks in it, you can see that some of them are very old.
So Keith, that is super familiar with the area, kind of led us away from the locals Devil Tree back to the area where the bodies were found.
People don't know about this tree, but remember what I said about the crack?
Mm-hmm.
And you saw it with the detective. I just showed you the picture of the detective.
Correct.
So this is actually where he did the killings. And he buried the bodies away from him. Very interesting about that is he used to disembowel his victims. And the reason why he did that, because he understood putrefaction and what the digestive system does to the body and how it breaks it down. So he removed the intestines, the stomachs, and then that was a typical practice of what he did.
And so the bodies would stay preserved longer by removing the internals.
Yes. Now, those are the ones that he left whole.
What I remember from doing a little bit of research that I've done, that
she's hitting him right on the head right now.
He would pick up hitchhikers and say, "This is what you get for being a hitchhiker."
Sure.
All right, so now you got a better perspective of it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to bring in, actually, we have two guests. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say some of those clips were from one of the YouTube videos that we did. You can also check that out on my YouTube, Florida Paranormal Researcher. Eric has some more evidence on there as well on his. If it's Ghost Hunter of South Florida, his YouTube.
Don't stutter that
as well. Yeah, I know. I just didn't want to make a mistake.
Oh, and Joe Hunt's Ghost is on the show, so you can check his out too.
Absolutely. I think we all have content.
Yep, definitely. So what we're going to do next is we're going to bring in the author of The Devil's Tree, the book, and the expert, Keith Rommel, who joined us on an investigation, and we're going to go through pieces of our evidence, get some history from Keith and things like that, and it's going to be a good ride. All right, you want to bring in Keith?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. What's going on,
guys.
Keith?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Good to see you both again. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, we're doing well. So, Keith,
Absolutely.
tell the people a little bit about yourself, some of your books, tell history of the Devil's Tree, and then what we'll do is we'll start going into it piece by piece of the evidence as we went throughout the night, and we'll talk about that. Sounds
okay.
good?
Yeah, sounds great. All right, so I'll do a real quick run through here. All right, so I'm an author of 15 novels. I've switched from novels, including the Devil Tree 1 and 2, and I've now changed over to comic books, and there's the Devil Tree comic book, and I own the company, which is really cool. So lots of stuff going that way, and I have movies and stuff like that. But I actually want to talk about this, so let's stay on that. And again, thank you guys for having me, and it's always fun seeing you guys.
Awesome, and we're going back soon. We're going to do another episode of the Devil's Tree Part 2, so stay tuned for that.
Good things to see.
All right,
Actually, the episode 4 of the Devil's Tree with us, with War Party.
Yeah, true. All right, so let's jump right into it. Can you just tell? I mean, I don't know if we did a good enough story on the history.
I mean, we can go for hours on just the history and the true.
Yeah.
Just kind of tell us anything I left out or anything we left out, and just kind of give us a quick little rundown.
I'll give you something really quick. Just some highlight overviews is that him and his father didn't get along. The father seemed to favor his sister, and I think that's why Gerard John Schaefer became a cross-dresser. And you have to remember that this was back in the 70s and 60s before this stuff was even remotely accepted. And he just, I believe that he had, his father and him had a very physical relationship as well. Okay. And this man was shattered in every way possible because the FBI profiler, besides calling him fat and upsetting him, said that he was the most deranged serial killer that he's ever come across, that he had every single thing wrong with him that you could possibly need to have wrong in order to become a killer. Right. He's such a prolific killer that nobody really even knows how many people he's killed. It's got to be in the hundreds. It has to be. Right. The more and more I dig, the more and more, and a shout out to my buddy Brandon, who always helps me and keeps me on the path and helps me with that. So it's just, there's so much, and there's such a deep rabbit hole. So after the cross-dressing and stuff like that, he, his behavior became very odd when he was teaching inappropriate behaviors. Then he would move to Fort Lauderdale, and then when he moved to Fort Lauderdale, he became a cop, and then got let go as a cop, and then he was rehired. And how he passed these evals and stuff is beyond me. So I don't really know who gave the green light, but they most certainly did give him the green light, and that gave him a little bit more of a pass, I believe, to kill and to use that badge to lure the people in.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess how he got caught was he pulled up and picked up 2 girls that were hitchhiking,
Trotter and Welch.
Exactly. And he was in his patrol vehicle at the time. So if you're a young girl and you're hitchhiking in Florida in the 70s and a cop pulls up, you're not even gonna second guess. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm safe, I'm going with a cop, And I think he took them out to a different area and he tied them up and was threatening them and doing and kind of like fooling around. And correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, here. And he got a call on the radio as an officer that he had to respond. So, and this dummy was using his own name. He was calling himself by his own name and saying I'm this and that because he was planning on lifing them. So he left and left the girls tied up there. And I guess they wiggled out, got out, and went back to the station and told them who and what happened. So they called him in. And when he came in, he was trying to justify it like, oh, I wasn't really going to do anything. I was just teaching him a lesson for hitchhiking. It's dangerous, And
he told his captain, I believe, his commanding officer, that I believe his words were, I messed up. And it was over the radio when they were calling him in. So he knew he was caught, which was crazy that they even let him out afterwards because he just started killing. He just started killing again. So,
but he was probably killing before that, right? Or do you think that was the first time?
That was for years and years. That was just the thing that got him caught, and then they looked into it, and he was only convicted for 2 murders, and which is beyond me. And I think after they arrested him, they searched his mother's house and found like a box full of like teeth and jewelry and some trinkets and different things that he would collect, as most serial killers do. and I think they narrowed. They said around 35 that they confirmed, but like he said, it could very well be up to the hundreds. So let's bring in the paranormal aspect of this, right? So
yeah, let's bring in Joe. Now we're going into paranormal.
let's do it.
What's up, Joe? Oh, audio.
You might mute.
Yep, gotcha.
There you
What's
go.
up,
There it
everybody?
is.
How you doing?
Hey, Joe.
What's up, Keith? How you doing, man?
Good,
to see
man.
you.
How are you? Good to see you.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
We doing
Very
good?
good.
All right.
So,
all right.
Keith, I wanted to ask you a question. So, when you went on this paranormal investigation with us, what was your thoughts, your feelings, your expectations?
Be honest.
Yeah, from what we were
Yeah.
getting and to what was correlating to the history.
That was probably one of the coolest nights, to be honest with you. So I'm a hard skeptic. I believe,
Mhm.
but I'm a hard skeptic. And what I mean by that is I believe that when I experience
See it.
something, I need to
Mhm.
find something, right, something that explains what's going
Yeah.
on. But everything that was happening that night, it was so fast that it's so hard to digest and understand, really take it
Yeah.
in fully, that when you revisit it like we're doing tonight and we've
Mhm.
done in the past, is that when you revisit it, you see different things that you didn't pick up at the time.
Oh
Especially
yeah,
somebody that,
definitely.
because I don't get into it the way that you guys do. I look at it pure daylight most of the time. Do I go there at night? Sure I do. It's pretty funny because one of my buddies that helps me with this, Brandon, him and I was sitting remember where you guys caught the disembodied voice or something like that at the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like a portal hole, or like whatever. I don't know kind of what was going on there, but I know that you guys caught a pretty good voice there. And I sat him there. We were there late at night, and I sat down with him, and he's sensitive. I'm not,
You got to bring him next time.
And he was as sick as a dog. And he's like, you can't take me there at night anymore. You can't do that, which is, it's pretty funny because he's this huge dude and I'm a tiny dude, and, and he's telling me, please don't take him there anymore. It's kind of funny.
Well, the cool thing was as soon as we got to the real devil tree, right off the bat, we were getting stuff, which is pretty amazing.
So Joe, that was he was just saying that his friend Brandon was
Mhm.
feeling sick at the tree.
Right.
And do you have anything to add to that?
So the first time we went out there was just me and Mike. Did a little scouting. We found some ruins. Found this creepy box. I'm sure we're going to talk about that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Did get one EVP, and it was by like some little ruins and stuff. But the second time we went with Keith and get out to the actual tree, and I remember we had stopped in one area where the bodies were discovered.
Yeah.
And I stayed behind, just setting up some equipment.
You and me were there alone for one point getting stuff.
At one point later during the night. But before that, I was setting up some gear out in that area, and you guys went ahead up to the tree. So once I finished up, I started walking up the trail to meet up with you guys. And the closer I got to that tree, I just started feeling sick. I didn't feel good. To the point that, this is the first time we ever meet Keith, and he even comes up to me and he's like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, dude, you do not look like yourself. And, we had just met an hour prior to this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, let's go, let's take a walk. I had to walk pretty far down that path to shake off what I was feeling that night.
Well, you remember when Jen was there, she had to leave early. She couldn't stay.
She had to, right. She couldn't, it's a really heavy energy area. It's insane. And you're outside. You're in the middle of this park. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go into the first piece of evidence. Towards the beginning, we were doing EVP sessions and we were getting some EVPs. So I'm going to play this one piece of evidence. This will go off. You can touch it.
Listen to this.
Right after you said, that's confirmation. Listen.
Sheriff's deputy recognized. Sheriff's deputy recognized. Now here.
I heard, I'm here. I don't know if you heard that.
Recognized. Sheriff's deputy recognized. Now here. He was trying to find the remains of his body.
I don't know if
You heard that.
Recognize the sheriff's deputy that came out here. He was trying to find the remains of his body.
So we were getting EVPs off the bat. Like we were like trying to talk to someone there, and there he is. I'm here. It's pretty wild.
You could hear the whisper. You know, that was wild. I mean, I think we captured evidence on almost every device.
Not even EVPs. It was other things.
We got EVPs. We got responses back out of Spirit Box.
Keith got his name called out at one point. I remember
a couple times.
Yeah, it's like they know you, Keith.
The other really strange thing is we put an EDI plus laying like at the base of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody that's watching that's not familiar with that, it's a multiple sensor, it's a data logger. But the geophone on it, which detects vibrations, was constantly just beeping at the first little like almost like footsteps were going around the tree. And that was wild. I've never seen that. That was your device, right, Eric?
Well, yeah. And then we had REMs all over the place that was going off. We had one out in the bushes that went off, and one next to the EDI that was going off. I got a clip of that. I can show.
Yeah, the millimeter REM was going off too, which is actually a little bit less sensitive than the regular REM pod as well. And for people that don't know what a REM pod is, it basically is a proximity sensor. If you get close to it, it beeps.
And the thing is also on the EDI, it senses pressure and humidity change. That thing was
all over the place, fluctuating.
And like that whole night, it was like it was just thick and hot, and there was like no wind. I mean, you could like cut through like the humidity. That's how bad it was. I mean, we're all sprayed up with mosquito repellent. So
yeah, you had a nice little glisten in the video. You just
You're shiny, dude.
Yeah, I knew it would come handy at one point. But let's play that clip. Let's play the clip of the REM.
What is that?
Pressure and temperature change. The temperature's pretty steady here. Mm-hmm. Can you do that again?
Oh. REM pod. Can you do that again for us? Can you make it go all the way to red, please? There you go. Good job. Nice. Thank you. It's kind of funny. I was just about to tell you that I kind of started feeling a little dizzy.
Remember when I said this is the first time I haven't felt
Really?
sick? Yeah. Not yet. But do that again. Again. Keep doing it.
And you can see like the intelligent response, like, you know, there was like, hey, keep doing it, do it again, boop. You know, it was.
I think Keith was our trigger object. I mean, I think that's why we got a lot of activity. It's like here you're like investigating the place and digging in answers and finding out secrets, and now they're able to communicate with you, and they jumped on it. How did you feel about that, Keith?
I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
I'm all right. Yeah, I am. I'm all right with that.
But I thought that was pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, it was cool.
I seriously thought that if it was just us three, I don't think it would have been as active. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I mean they're definitely triggered by Keith, and we've even like Joe was asking questions like, hey, what do you think about Keith? Like even when we went back without Keith, we mentioned like, hey, you know our friend Keith, and we get responses like, because you spend so much time there, like we've talked about in previous episodes, almost like the spirits get to know you,
definitely. Yeah. And now they can communicate with you. But have you ever been on a paranormal investigation like that with all the equipment and things like that?
First time ever. It was my first time, and it was amazing. I mean, that's literally the only thing I can say.
I guarantee you the next time we go there and you're with us, it's going to be the same thing. Maybe more active.
Well, I think more. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And I'm going to bring Brandon too. So, and he's been there
Yeah.
a lot. So probably as much as I have, but in the recent, he's been there as more than I have. So
Okay.
he goes there a lot more. So he's definitely a trigger object. There's no question about it.
So the first time Joe and I went by ourselves, we stumbled upon some very strange findings. And Eric, I know that you have the clip set up. I don't know where it is. Here it is. I'm going to play it real quick.
Go ahead.
So Joe and I stumbled upon what seemed to be some type of altar with a
I hope you guys didn't touch that.
No,
I did.
You did?
Oh, I most certainly did. And I drank the alcohol that was underneath in the door.
Damn, dude.
I'm just telling you the truth. Just telling you the truth.
So I'm gonna pop this.
That's mine.
You want to curse me? I'll curse you back.
So a picture's worth 1,000 words. Sorry, guys that are on the radio. You have to check it back out. But this is I'll just describe it real quick. It was like a black plywood box with like red puff paint.
Very artistic.
Like,
Don't
and
put some work into that.
Yeah, and it had like occult symbols all over it with a cross on top, out of sticks, and there was some money on it, and
there were coins in all four corners of it on the top,
and a little door in the back,
front, yeah,
or front or back, whatever. And I didn't want to touch it, to be honest with you. So I was kind of like looking in there and peering in there with my camera, and I could see.
I was just stick or something.
No, I didn't even want to do that.
I would.
No, we didn't want to mess with it.
Keith will just stomp on it.
Pretty much.
And it had some eyes staring back at me in there, like maybe a small cat or something that was inside.
There's your cat right there.
So I'm going to show you guys what we found here.
All right, cool.
All of them have this on it. We found a couple of structures out here in the park, and sure enough, as we're walking through, Mike finds this altar. There's symbols all around it.
Yeah, both bodies were missing since January 8th, 1973.
Okay, so early 70s. So this altar's out here in the middle of the park, next to one of these abandoned structures. And I'm not sure what these symbols are, but I know that they are definitely occult symbols. Yeah, because they put something inside it. So there's our altar.
Did you guys ever try to figure out what those words say?
I did.
We reached out
What does
to
it mean?
several people.
So we reached out to Carly and sent some of the pictures and some of the stuff to her, and she said some of them she didn't know, and some of them were rune symbols for
Fertility.
fertility.
Yeah.
Or something. And she was kind of confused on why that would be there. Keith, Joe, what else did you find?
There was also the only thing that somebody told us that they found weird with it was on I forgot if it was on the top or on the side. It was like domine or something like that. Apparently that it meant like demon or devil, something like that. That's the only thing that did not coincide with all the other symbols that were around it. Like that was that, and they felt that was like really out of place for that. So they didn't have too much of an answer. Keith, you've been researching this for a long time. Maybe you have something else.
The only thing that I really found weird on the whole thing, well, besides that this box is just sitting there, it's just weird. But there was the djinn on there. So that's the only thing that I found that had anything in there that's relatively evil as far as that box goes.
Mm-hmm.
So demon maybe, genie maybe. There was a book inside there. I wrote my name in the book and wrote a message to whoever it is that made that box, and then there was offerings and I told you guys don't eat the oranges. Remember that?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there were oranges in there, and there were alcohol, but the alcohol was sealed. So I the hell, I popped it and I, gave it a drink. Which that night I actually, no oranges, but that night I actually ran a fever. It was really weird.
Oh, wow.
True story. True story. Swear to God. True story. Yeah, ran a fever.
That box looked like it was fresh, like it hadn't been there for too long.
No, that was something modern. That's because people have.
It's a park. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a public park. Anybody
Well,
can go walk in
We
there.
didn't talk about how people do rituals there.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
I was going to get ready to say with that, the whole thing with the gin, whatever the hell it is.
Mhm.
It's like that goes hand in hand with when I was initially starting the investigation of the tree, and I believe I told you guys this, that some dummy said, hey, that's my tree and you can't do that, and he threatened to kill me, and the idiot's doing it off of Facebook Messenger. So I put his name into a police thing. And yes, he had a criminal history. So I'm like, dude, if you're going to threaten somebody, don't have a record, don't be on probation, and then the guy was like, hey, listen, I'm really sorry, and the whole 9 yards. And I just said, it's not your tree. And he goes, yeah, it is. And I said, well, what makes it your tree? Well, we do the Ouija boards there, and it's ours, and the area is ours. So I think that there's activity there also, and I believe that it's not just, as we know, it's not just at the one location, it's in multiple locations.
Yeah.
And I believe that it's because there's so many
Stirring up
people that
other
come
things.
there. Sure, there's so many people that goes there that it just feeds the energy. So
Right.
it makes sense to me.
Well, let's go
there-
more into that. What we're going to do is the tip of the week, and we'll keep everyone in like a suspense.
All right.
We're gonna bring Tim up. So let's roll with that real quick. Right, quick. All right, Tim.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, good. So we'll see you guys Friday. Okay, bye-bye.
All right,
That was a good tip.
yeah, let's bring in Tim now.
Hey guys, how you doing? That's how you feel when you get your first investigation. Inside. Now, on the outside, you got to be calm because you got a lot of stuff to do. Hi, I'm Tim Arnwine. I'm the long-haired ghost hunter, member of War Party Paranormal, and author of Ghost Hunting Getting Started. Now, this week's kind of a twofer. We're going to touch briefly on contacting and then set up the investigation. All right? Now, contacting, remember, anybody can bring an investigation to a team because, you meet different people, you run into different people. But there has to be some guidelines, and we use 4 of them. 1, don't trespass. It's not worth getting arrested or worse. 2, if you're going to set up an investigation, make sure you're dealing with the decision maker. Because there's nothing worse than showing up in an investigation and you may have been dealing with a staff member the whole time. And the owner's there and he wants nothing to do with it. 3, don't investigate alone. 2 reasons: safety and evidence confirmation, which is what we'll get into down the road. Now, number 4 is very important because it can make or break your reputation. Owner's privacy. Now, no house owner wants their house or name slapped all over the internet. And a lot of businesses feel the same way. So always consider that. Don't put the name out there, and always get permission before you post evidence. All right? Now, it's time to make the call. Let's set up the investigation. Now, rule 1, when you're talking to the client, don't judge them. Okay? It probably took a lot of courage for them to come out to you in the beginning. So don't judge them. They don't need another skeptic in their life. You're really just making the call to talk about their concerns, get the history of the activity, the history of the location. Get the important information, of course, the address. You already have the phone number, directions if you need it, things like that. Get the size of the location. Now, you don't have to be perfect, just ballpark it. Is it a 3-2 house? Is it an office building? Is it a horse stable? Because we've done those. That's going to come in handy down the road when you decide how many people you're going to need or what kind of equipment you're going to set up. Okay. Now, you can set up dates. It's good to get a couple dates from the client, but don't confirm it because you need to set it up with your team. Because you always want to have coverage for the investigation. Now, once you set up the investigation and the time with your team and the client, set the time, set the date, confirm it the day before. Okay? Now, the rest of the call, I just call you're thinking of your team. Get the incidentals. Is it a gated community? What's the process to get in? What's the parking situation? Because we've done a lot of townhouses where there's literally no parking except for a block away or so with the guest parking. So you have to think about that when you're the investigation, dropping off equipment, things like that. Believe it or not, think about meter parking because we do have a client that there's only meter parking. Okay. Luckily, we've worked out a system where we can lay cards of the director in the dashboard and we're fine for parking. But you have to think about that for your team. You don't want to come out to everybody having tickets. And then the silly things. Is there power? Like the Devil's Tree. Is there a bathroom? These are just some things you got to think about for your team. Okay? And don't forget rule 2 for tonight. When you get the information, the concerns, the history, the activity, don't share it with your team. Okay? The idea is you want your team going in cold. No preconceptions. It just makes for a more honest investigation. All right? So that's your tip of the week. If you guys have any tips you want to share or expand on, let us know. Because I think we can always learn. Okay? I can be found at...
Oh, sorry.
What?
Sorry, Tim.
That's cool.
Go ahead.
Longhairdghosthunter.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you're in South Florida, you think you have activity, reach out to warpartyparanormal.com. Chances are I'll be calling you because I'm one of the case managers. Okay. So great show, guys. I got to get to that Devil Tree with you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Tim,
I got awesome tips, Tim. Thank you.
Tim, I got pay by phone for parking.
Oh,
the app on my phone.
Yeah, but if you can get away with not paying,
throw that in there.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks,
Be
Tim.
safe
Thank
out
you.
there.
Love your
As
tips.
always.
Thank you, sir.
All right, awesome. That was Tim, and let's kind of pick up where we left off. We were getting ready to talk about some of the satanic worshiping and things that were going on out the tree. So there has been reports there ever since Oak Hammock Park was established that people were seeing hooded figures walking around out there and different worshiping going on. And
there's an old boys' home there that's like in ruins.
Exactly, and people trying to conjure up stuff and do stuff there.
Right.
Joe, your mic's muted again. So yeah, no, there's a lot of different energies there, as me and Keith talked about in the past as well. You have the excitement of people diving in and going to an area of true crime. You have the paranormal aspect. You have the satanic worship that's going on there, and there's a lot of different energy and people passing through. And it's the locals tree is on a trail. Like if you just go for a walking, you'll pass right by.
You can see it. Yeah. There's cement poured in it. They tried to burn it down, chop it down.
Yeah, there's also a lot of local legends that I'm not sure how much truth there is to some of them. They're urban legends. That the tree was told to be cut down by the city when they put Oak Hammock Park into place, and supposedly both chainsaws that they had were malfunctioning. They couldn't chop it down. They tried using a saw to no avail. And then supposedly, I heard two different stories of it. Like one, something happened where the guy got killed from the chainsaw, or another one when they were driving away, they got into a fatal car accident. These are legends, urban legends. We don't know how true they are.
Right.
People do pick the bark off the tree, and they supposedly, if you put it in somebody's car, they get into a car accident, a fatal car accident.
People eat it too.
They eat it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Strange.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's put up a little bit more evidence because we got a lot to show.
We do.
And for everyone that's watching, this is not going to be for an hour. We're probably going to go a little bit longer because time's flying by. But we'll start with this one EVP that we got, and this is like around the beginning when we got to the Devil's Tree.
Actually, Eric, I was going to say, why don't we play the one real quick that me and Joe got the first time we were there. That was since we were talking about the box and the satanic worship.
Actually, you know what? That was the one I was going to click on, wasn't it? Yeah. The yes.
Okay. No, it says nothing. The EVP.
I got it. I got you right here on ST25.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Tell us, over here. Why are you here? Are you angry?
So that was the only the EVP that we captured the first time we were there off the box there. It said nothing. Is there anything else? Nothing.
And also the first time we went there again, it was we had literally just read about this online. And we're like, let's go check it out. This is when Mike and I first started investigating together. I think it was actually like our second investigation together, really. Like, and we get out there, and we're just going off of just what we found online, Atlas Obscura or something like that. And we get out there, and we're like, all right, whatever. I don't think we have any hits on our K2s. Nothing was hitting out there, and we got the one EVP. We were out there for a couple of hours. So, after Mike, we were like, there's got to be more to this. So we kept, trying to dig in, and Mike ended up finding Keith, and they started talking, and we started getting a lot more information, and we're like, shit, we were, we were in the wrong place the entire time, So it was really cool to.
Remember, we don't have a bleep machine.
I apologize.
I know.
So after linking up with Keith and like him going, this is this, and I'm going to take you to the real place. Like, it was a totally different world. It was like a switch.
Yeah. And the good thing that we had Keith with us was he knew a lot of the histories. Like, we got one EVP that I'm going to play next where we were asking about, I guess, some of the women that were murdered there. This is the response that we got right here.
Was that Jessup that we caught on voice recorder before? Is that your voice? What was the show? Yes. Your voice? What was the voice?
So I think that one was like after I'm here, and then we got that we were asking about, some of the girls that died there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was wild.
But we got even a better one too.
There was another really strange one too.
That was off your camera. That wasn't even off a recorder.
Exactly. I had my camcorder, night vision camcorder,
just laying on the ground.
Yeah, I set it down, just staring at the devices on the tree, and we captured something pretty wild.
I'll play that one. I'm sorry, but that was badass. I gotta play that one more time. That's crazy, right?
Dude, that's nuts. That's insane.
Crazy.
And when I first found that, when I was reviewing the footage, I was like,
God.
And I sent it to all you guys in like a group message, and we were playing it back. And obviously, I bumped the volume up, but I did not alter that or anything. All I did is raise the volume up so you can hear it a little bit better. But yeah, no, that was very surprising. You're all worthless. Thanks.
Yeah, it knows me.
And then after that, like I had left and then you guys stayed, and then something crazy happened, Joe, and you happened to get that on video too.
Yeah, let's see if let's have Joe and Keith kind of talk about that real quick before we play it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just gonna describe it real
Set
quick.
up the scene. Set up the scene.
Yeah, I'm trying not to run out of time either. So
we got
we're
plenty
back.
of time.
We're back in the area where the actual bodies were found, and Keith located this area. There were some trees that were cut down when the investigators were out there looking for the bodies. So that's how kind of
Joe and I, when we were there alone, the REMs were going out by themselves back there too. And we got some EVPs. I don't remember what we got, but we got something.
No, we got a couple solid ones.
Yeah, but there was stuff going on there.
So Joe and I and Keith walk in the back where the bodies were found. We're doing some stuff and we're doing some EVPs, spirit box, or whatever. And Joe, like, I thought he stumbled. Like, I thought he tripped over something because it's dark. All we have is our full spectrum cameras.
And he don't stumble. He's very agile.
Yeah.
Throw that in there.
I'm like a big puma.
Exactly. He'll pounce you.
So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. And then we'll let you guys see what happened.
All right, let's play that video.
I want to try something.
Is there anything here that's like magnetic, like that?
What was that? You all right?
Scare you?
No, not that.
What?
You tripped?
No.
You
Saw
all right?
a person right here.
Out of here.
My arms, I wish I could show you my arms right now.
I was filming with the full spectrum.
Did you just touch him?
Like literally here.
Light that up if you were touching him.
That was crazy, right? And the REMs going off when that happened. I gotta play it again. Everyone, like, when you watch this video, like, focus on Joe, like right when it starts. Here we go.
I want to try something.
Is there anything here that's like magnetic, like that?
What was that? You all right?
Scare you?
No, not that.
What?
You tripped?
No.
You
Saw
all
a
right?
person right here.
Out of here.
My arms, I wish I could show you my arms right now.
I was filming with the full spectrum.
Did you just touch him?
Like literally here.
Light that up if you were touching him.
Like a cat.
Very nimble. He's a nimble navigator.
No, but you know, it's crazy because you jump and then you like had to bend over and like catch your breath.
Well, imagine
Like a natural
I
reaction.
literally, we were just setting up for that EVP session, and we're just standing around. You know, we had the REM pod had already been going off at that point. We had to walk through around the woods, and you know, we get started, and I happened to just take a quick glance to my left, and there is a woman standing there with dark hair, all white. I couldn't see her face, and she literally took a step forward and then a half step to the side, and she was gone. Like it lasted maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds. You know, it was insane, and it literally at arm's distance from me. So yeah, I freaked out. I jumped. I couldn't take it.
And that's a whole nother story in its own. But that's kind of when, Joe, you kind of found out that you were sensitive and you have
around
abilities.
that time.
Yeah, that's when we started to realize, because you'll see stuff when we're doing SS methods and things of that nature as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, besides that, I mean, you and I actually saw Mike and I actually saw something on the path
right before that.
You know, we were both like happened to look down the path, and we're 20 yards away, 30 yards. And we just see this white figure just go. And
I saw a white mist or something from the corner of my eye. I couldn't tell exactly what it was. I mean, Keith was there with us. I don't know if he's seen that or not. No. Yeah.
I think that's why we were like, okay, let's go ahead and get started on that EVP session, and then
I think we broke out the spirit box right after that.
Yeah, right, let me play that.
Is the person that we're speaking to inhuman? Why are you here? Brought in.
Brought in.
So everyone saw how dark that was. That's outside. Like that's not inside a building. That's outside. It is.
Nah, it's pitch black.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
there's a
deep,
big
it's
hammock
deep
in
in the
there.
woods.
Yeah.
It's like a rainforest type looking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't
We're
even
in
get
the,
any
subtropics here. Yep.
Yeah.
And there are pumas. But none like Joe.
No,
Exactly.
Unlike Joe.
King Boom over here.
I have to tell you guys, if I can, from my point of view, like when you see something like that, Joe's not a small man. So when you're seeing something like that, my first immediate thought is, oh, he tripped, and
Me
then
too.
after,
Me too.
right, and then after you start questioning and you start seeing all the things that are the pod going off on the ground, just there was a lot of things even after that just kept happening and happening and happening.
Yeah.
And then it just starts to solidify, like when you two said that you saw something and and then you said, did I see something at that time? And I said, no, I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe obviously caught something out of the corner of his eye. So it was,
Yeah.
or something. And Mike saw the thing as well on the path or whatever it was.
And
But
you've
it's
seen
just-
things there before too.
Oh yeah.
Before we were there. What kind of things have you seen?
I just, nothing I can explain. So it's,
Right.
it's sometimes, a lot of times it's out of the corner of the eye.
Yeah.
But there was a period of time when I was initially first investigating, and I believe I was taking home some stuff with me. So that's long since passed. I don't get that anymore. So I think it's used to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's this guy again. So,
I'll
but
try.
Seeing somebody get pushed or shoved or whatever it is, it's hard to process that.
It is. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
process too, because me and Joe work on, a lot of times we team up because we investigate together a lot. We work hand in hand, and I don't have any of that. I can't see anything or hear anything like that or sense anything. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I will, if we're somewhere that has a really dark presence. Sometimes I'll feel a little nauseous, maybe. But yeah, it's hard for me to comprehend at first too, But I know Joe, and I know he's honest. And and it's
like I always, it's like I always say, like people like Mike and I believe Keith, like we're very skeptical. We're not sensitive. We have to like seeing is believing. But people like Joe, and I know there's people on this chat that are on our team that are sensitive. I think people who are sensitive, their minds are more connected to stuff like that, and they'll be able to see things because I guess we're so skeptic, like we're like trying to like doubt it, trying to find an explanation.
Yeah, we're almost blocked
it's
off.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. Like, I wish I could open my mind to where, and I'm working on it, and I'm trying. Sometimes some things happen, but
don't try so hard.
And Eric, it's really interesting what you said, because it is. It's like we've built a wall around us.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, we just don't let it too close, and it's like we've got to put it in a certain box and try to identify it and understand it right then and there.
Oh yeah, definitely. So when I first got into investigating, I mean, I was very skeptical. I was watching the shows. I'm like, oh, I got to go there. I got to see if that's really real. And then I started getting the equipment, and like that was my goal, is trying to find evidence. Oh, that's everyone's goal, is try to find evidence that's scientific, that you can back it up. And I would get things here and there, but now I get crazy stuff. And I think it's all because within the past 2 years, I try to like open myself up, try to feel the vibe of the place. And I've learned that from people on my
Eric,
team.
tell the people like how long you've been doing this, just so they know.
I've been doing it for about 11 years. With the War Party, this is, I believe, maybe we're going into our 4th year me. Previously, I was with another team for a few years as well. And then, just messed around on my own for a while. So like I've done like a crazy amount of paranormal investigations. Like I can't even keep a number on it. And I don't know, ever since I came to our team, War Party, I just met people like Celia, and Charlene and other folks that are sensitives and they're like more in tuned and they get touched and they see things. Just trying to like open myself up, like maybe go in a place, sit by myself in the dark, just try to feel the vibe out. And I don't know, like lately, like more things have been happening. It's like more of my, like just following my gut instinct, like my intuition. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just something that I go with and like things start happening. But it's also because like I go to a lot of locations several times. I think I build a connection with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about in I think when we were on with Cody and Satori from Taps, we were kind of talking about that, how you build a relationship with the spirits in the area. We got
just like Keith got his name called out.
Yeah. We got about 5 minutes until we have to end it for the KGRA broadcast. We're going to stay on and continue on the social media side of it with the video, but I want to try to squeeze in a couple more things here before we get off the air. Let's see. So Eric, do you want to play a couple more little clips here while we got a few more minutes while we have everybody on?
Well, the just real quick, I just want to like, yeah, let's do that. I can do that later. So let's pull that up. So these clips here that we're going to be playing, they're from another investigation. After, the four of us went, they went back with a friend of ours, Carly, and she's also a sensitive as well. So let's see. You want to start with the Estes?
Yeah, let's do that. So real quick, we weren't getting a lot of REM pod activity this trip. We were getting some EVPs here and there. The vibe was extremely strong. Carly did not want to go near the tree. And Joe?
I didn't want to go near the damn tree.
Out of curiosity, how was the weather different from the time we went? It was hot, humid, heavy. How was
so something crazy about that night. Like it was another still night. It was still, there was no wind, there was nothing. And we noticed that as we were going throughout the night, anytime that we would mention the name Gerard John Schaefer or John, a huge gust of wind would just go straight through these trees. And we're like, no way. Like, there's no freaking way.
Yeah, it was very, very odd.
We literally just started just testing that, at a point. Like, we would just be talking random stuff, and then we'd go, Schaefer. And we're like, really? Like, it was insane.
Very, very strange. Then we decided that we were going to do an Estes method out there. We had planned for Joe, because Joe is our Estes king. And we were planning on Joe doing the Estes, but you didn't feel up to it. So
no, I was hurting that night. I was feeling sick again. I was not feeling myself. Like we said, the energy was crazy that night. And I literally felt that if I did an Estes session, like there's a potential that I might be attacked. Like that's
when we go back, I want to
negative I felt.
When we go back, I want to do the Delco experiment. I'll be the sacrificial lamb on that one.
Let's do it. We need to get Eric in the chair.
Speaking of opening up, I'll try to open up there.
Actually, I don't know if we have time to play the Estes. Well, let's play it. We're gonna anybody that's tuning in via the radio or stream, it might cut off towards it, but at least you can get a little bit. We can
wait a few minutes. We'll wait a few minutes. Wait about a minute. So once again, we'll be off the broadcasting network, but you can still find us on KGRA's Facebook and YouTube page, and War Party Paranormal on Facebook as well, and YouTube. Yep.
Exactly. So appreciate all you guys for tuning in, and the next show will be starting here for you guys here in just a second.
Yep. And real quick, we're going to have a good one next week. What we're going to do is we're going to go live on Saturday night on our War Party Paranormal YouTube, and we're going to be at
investigation.
We're going to do a live investigation at History Fort Lauderdale, downtown Fort Lauderdale. And what's there is there's three buildings that are haunted and have activity. One of them is the New River Inn, which is the first luxury hotel. It was built in the early 1900s by the railroad tracks. A train conductor haunts that place, and we get stuff in there. Names get called out as well. And then we're going to also switch over to the Cromartie House. King Cromartie House was actually across the river from the New River Inn. It was a pioneer home. And I believe one of the daughters of the Cromartie family died from yellow fever, but they moved that house across the river next to New River Inn. So that place is crazy active. So we're going to maybe like do an hour in both locations each. And then on Monday, we're going to talk about it. And we're going to show you what we got. So we're going to give you guys the two.
We'll also show some clips from some of our other investigations there as well.
Yeah, yep, definitely. All right, so let's continue.
So here we go, right? So Joe wasn't feeling up to it. I said Carly was also kind of telling me like maybe you shouldn't do it. I said let's go, let's do it. And we forgot the blindfold. So I actually had to use Carly's hair bandana to wrap around my eyes. So I couldn't see. And anybody that's listening that's not familiar with the Nessus method is what it is. You're using an SB7 spirit box or any spirit box that you want to use that sweeps radio stations, and you use noise isolation headphones, connect them to it, put a blindfold on, and people will ask questions. And the whole purpose of that is so we cannot read your lips or see or hear what you're asking. We just shout out what we're hearing coming through the spirit box. When we play this clip, you could hear that it's so loud in the headphones. You can hear it coming through the headphones. There's no way I can hear anything. I'm just repeating what I hear.
All right. You ready to have that one roll?
Let's do it.
All right.
Help me.
Is this one of the girls? Is this Collette or Barbara Ann? Or any other girl?
Billy.
Billy. Hi, Billy. Billy, how old are you?
7.
All right, Billy. Did you live here?
Billy, are you here?
Get out of here.
All right, I feel like it's somebody else here now.
It's
Talk
me.
to us.
John.
John, Gerard.
Yep. Why do you want us to get out?
Me too. Yep. My whole body, we tingled at the same time.
Yep. Yep.
Step back.
Our tingles are instant. You just step back.
Yes.
I'm not going to step back. I'm going to stay right here.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and you say.
And what's the name of this killer? What was the name of this killer?
Gerard
John Schaefer.
There you go.
And I have to tell you something. That Billy, 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that had anything to do with the boys' home that was there.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what I was thinking too.
Well, that night we were actually using that. We were using the boys. Like we realized it was going to be more of a night to talk to the girls, not talk to Schaefer, and focus on like the kids, because we were getting kids left and right that whole night.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people say that they see nuns back there.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you kind of take the nun thing into consideration, it does make sense with kids
From the boys' home.
Yeah,
right,
definitely.
sure.
Yeah.
And back then they didn't. It's not like it is nowadays. Back then they didn't. They just took you out of the home and stuck you somewhere.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
they did not treat you very nice.
No,
1920s, right?
Yeah,
Around the 1920s.
20s, 30s, 40s, and everything that's back there, the cinder block, the corrugated roofing, just everything that they use, carriage bolts, everything that's in there. I actually went in and started researching when cinder block was invented, when was galvanized invented, when was corrugated roofing, and so on and so forth, and all this other stuff. And I traced the barbed wire fence, and it almost looks like it's like a cattle pen or something that was back there. So maybe they were doing Yeah, it's huge.
So-
That is the fencing. It's huge.
Keith,
Right.
did you notice that when we were showing the altar, that on the stairs, those symbols, the XX and the CC,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I dug in. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what those were. And I eventually found out what they were, and they're cattle brands. And they're still being used today in the Fort Myers area. So that one area right there by the tree was where they kept cattle. So being that it was a boys' home out there, they're fully self-sufficient. So they must have they had their own animals. They butcher their own animals. They had their own, fully self-sufficient.
And Mike, it was not a residential the way it is now.
Yeah, there was nothing out there, right?
Right. That would be, now it's all paved and stuff like that. Beautiful homes around it. But back then, that was like the middle of nowhere. You know what else Schaefer used to do? A lot of people don't know this, but check this out. Schaefer used to take his victims and tie a noose to the bumper of his car. Put your neck around it and zip, back up and hang you.
Oh, to pull you up.
There's a working theory that Brandon and I are discussing, and that's whether or not.
Did you ever find any pulleys or anything out there?
No. The only thing that I found is I have a piece of that, and that's the crates that he may have stood people on, or crates that the boys' home used to give the kids fruit or whatever the heck it was.
So here's my biggest question, right? So right around this tree in this area, you have these ruins from old structures with cattle brands that were an old boys' home from back in the possible 20s area. Schaefer was there in the 70s. So do you think that these buildings were standing at the time and he used those structures? Because if you think about it, right? If you're a bad guy, you're going out there to do bad stuff.
I heard something about that those structures were there. Like that was the place where you hid out, maybe?
Nobody knows. There's
a
rumor that he had a little place out there or something, but that was never proven. But I'm wondering if he would hang out in these structures.
There's also theories, and again, it's a working theory that he actually had people underground. I don't know that to be true. I'm just telling you some of the things that I heard.
Underground?
Yeah, he had a hole, and he would take somebody and put them down into the hole.
Oh, really?
Kind of like, what just
Silence of the Lambs.
Exactly, Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
He puts the lotion on the skin, and you can't get out, and he's kind of tormenting you, Yeah. So I don't know if it's true. I've looked and looked and looked. I can't find anything. The only thing that I know is I know where the bodies were buried, and I know that there's a skull missing. So
they never recovered the skull of the one.
And his style of murders was just all like demented and like suffering and pain. As much suffering as possible before you die. Pretty crazy. Yeah,
it would. I watched the interviews from him on YouTube. They're on there. A lot of
he got stabbed in jail, right?
Yes, he was killed in jail by another inmate.
You know why? You know what the inmate said? He wouldn't shut up.
I can see that.
Yeah, he seemed like that type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was sending you guys. I'm sure that you read it somewhere. If not, whatever. It is known that he was sending emails. Back in the day, they didn't have emails. He was sending letters to other inmates pretending that he was a woman. I think that he was doing that stuff because his father and his sister, and he was cross-dressing. And so when he was in prison, how would he entertain himself? He would torment the other prisoners.
Yeah.
I think,
mentally manipulate people.
Right. And he's, I killed him. No, I didn't, So my big question, I think the thing that I'm hung up with the most on this whole entire thing is why was he only convicted on the 2? And I said that to you guys, before in the past, but that's my question is why do me as a family member, if that's my family member, that's not acceptable to me. And I understand that it costs money and resources, but I mean, you convict him of 2 and put him away forever.
You want me to give my 2 cents?
Sure.
This is what I was also thinking, right? Because if you look at the interviews from him, it's always from the UK. A lot of the UK interviewers and stuff come over here. I want to say they didn't want too much getting out because Florida and tourism and money. I think money.
And Port St. Lucie was starting, right?
Develop.
So correct. And look at all the money. There's other things that I know, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to create trouble. So I do have other things that I've been told.
Like the mayor from Jaws. The beaches are open. Everything's fine.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just like, well, okay, we got them on these two. When did that become that's good enough? Never in law enforcement. Was it embarrassing to them because this guy did this and then he passed 2 psychological
and he
tests?
was a cop.
That's what I mean. So like, was that a stain on them? Did they take that personally?
Well, if that was the case, then maybe you would have thought that they would have tried to do a little bit more against it. Like this guy made us look like crap. Now we're gonna get him for everything.
Remember the 70s? Remember it was in the 70s though. So too, maybe they didn't want too much getting out.
That's what I think is that right there. They didn't want too much. They just wanted it to go away. It's almost like because back, right? Think about it. In that area, what did they do with kids? They just took them and put them away. Right. So if that's the mindset, and that was the mindset back then, you didn't get involved with other people and their business when they were doing things in their family that was not on the up and up. Most times it was ignored, right? Somebody got pregnant out of wedlock. They were sent away to a boarding school, had the kid, put the kid up for adoption, and then the daughter came back home or whatever it was. It was like, back then it was always like, don't ruin the family name and don't do this and don't do that. But it was, I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that it's a whole lot of putting the fire out, put the blanket on the fire and let's be done with it. And now here it is 50 years later, and where, and it's amazing because people that go around there, sometimes they go, you're making people go to the tree. Listen, you guys can go there as much as you want. I can go there as much as I want. I can investigate as much as I want. I can write as many books as I want. People are still going to go, even if I stop today. If you guys stop today, it's not going to change what it is.
No, it's a devil's tree. That's what everyone knows about.
And, it's true. People are fascinated by true crime. For whatever which reason. It's
well, besides the true crime, even like just the legend of it. The lore, the urban legend behind it. Like it's a true story, but I mean, the night that we went out with Carly, we were in the first section by the ruins, by the local street, and there was a group of kids that were walking out there, to come out, and we start shining our flashlights, and they just freak out and take off.
Because they heard stories probably about Satanists and stuff like that, and they don't know.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, they want to go get a scare,
They thought you were a devil worshiper.
Yeah.
Where's your
maybe they saw a giant puma coming down the trail.
Yeah. Sliding down.
That's an agile puma.
Right.
So we actually have a couple more EVPs that we could play. There's two more that we had loaded up.
Let's do the one with Joe and Carly.
Let's do it.
All right.
Those are about relaying messages. Is there something that you want to say?
I've never heard a voice like that come through a DR.
It's like high pitched.
Yeah, that was like a woman's voice.
Kind of like a female, yeah.
Yeah, like almost like they were singing it. Get out.
Get out.
It did. It did sound like that.
Yeah, that was really odd.
And then we got one other one too that we captured.
Yeah,
that was Joe. Let's go ahead and shoot that one up there.
Picked up a name earlier for Barbara Ann. Barbara Ann, are you here with us right now? Can you tell us how old you are, please? Is there anyone else out here? Collette.
Wow. And guess who was 18? Wells.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one that escaped, she was 18.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. That's crazy. Right around those ages, man. That's what he did.
It's crazy.
He sent a note to another inmate, and I believe it was Bundy that he sent it to because he was in awe of Bundy. and I think he wanted to be celebrated for his killings. I mean, that's the sadistic stuff. But he said, "I killed a pregnant woman. Does that count as 1 or 2?" So I think he was always into things for shock value and.
Yeah. Like it was his pride,
Yeah,
his pride and joy, and he wanted to be
But
better than everyone else.
Yeah, at a very young age, he had this. I don't know what his connection is with trees, but he had this infatuation where he was at a very young dating age, and he had a girlfriend, and they would act killing and tying each other to a tree at a very young age. I'm talking like teenagers. It was just really, really weird, And here he lived what you could say as most serial killers do. He lived a very regular life outside of the killing and the derangement that he had.
Right. So here's what's weird, right? That he didn't die at that park, right? He was killed in prison. But we seem to get responses and stuff that are related to him directly.
In his eyes, that's where all his glory is located, by that tree.
Exactly.
So
is the theory that because of so much energy and he was so attached to that area that he is still there?
Possibly.
Well, yeah, and I also know that there's some sort of conduit between there and the next place that we're going to investigate after
the other
Oak Hammock
area.
Park.
Yeah.
And Keith, you keep on discovering stuff from that place since we last investigated.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always exciting to talk to you because you always have new stuff to share.
Yeah.
You want to share that?
It's like the gift that
sure.
keeps on giving.
Sure, yeah, it absolutely is. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper here so that way I can
And
show everybody.
How recent was all this?
This was in the past, I would say 40 days or so.
Okay.
Within the past 40 days. So his name is Gerard John Schaefer. So what my co-investigator and buddy found was on a tree, he found, so I'm going to show everybody like I did with you guys, the 3 steps.
Okay.
So there's your G for Gerard. And this is what's engraved in the tree. So, and when I say tree, I actually mean trees. And when I show you guys, you're going to probably be like, wow, it's like right in your face.
Right.
But it's like but it's 50 years old. So so you have growth of the tree.
Right.
Something that was here is probably 20 feet or 30 feet in the air.
Exactly.
So the next step that you're looking for is, I'm going to do the best that I can because I have sloppy handwriting. So there's your Gerard and John. Okay. And then.
Almost looks like a brand, like a branding.
Yeah, it almost does. So Gerard John Schaefer, this is his signature in the trees.
Wow.
Gerard John Schaefer. And now that I showed you this, when we go there, and I'm going to have Brandon come as well, we're going to show you guys around and we'll show you the bee tree and stuff like that, what we're talking about. But it's all over the forest. And when I tell you all over, 15, 20 trees, easy.
Oh,
now,
wow.
do you think he was using that as far as, because especially at that time, there were no roads out there. There were no trails to walk through. Was he using that maybe as markers to try to get around through the woods?
Or
he knows, okay, I'm on the right track.
The trees where he did stuff.
Maybe did something.
And I have to tell you something else. There's Barbara is all over the trees in there too.
Really?
Yeah. So he's got there's some interesting stuff all over that forest. And again, now that I'm telling you guys, I'm going to show you when we go there next. And it's kind of like I said, it's in your face. But if you're not looking, I'm 5'5", right? So my focus is here. Brandon's like 6'2", so his focus is completely different. Where he's, I look down, he looks up. So that's just the way that it is. And he's like, "Hey, look at this." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me."
So you've been out there. You've been out there with metal detectors as well, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's something that you're willing to share that you found out there?
A piece of a car, and that's why we think that.
Oh, with the bumper thing.
Yeah, but it was. Remember back in like the 70s, they had the pinstriping that went on the side of the car, but it was more like a pressed in,
Yeah.
popped out sort of. Yeah, and it
Yeah,
snaps.
like a
It's in
molding.
the molding, and it's in my trunk. I have bicycle handles. I have, but the bicycle handles were found at the other place. I have bed springs. I have nails. I have, like we were talking about before, I have crate, metal things to the crate. And the interesting thing is that Brandon, like I said, is sensitive. I'm not. So if he sees something, he won't touch it. Me, I don't care. I just go in there and I just grab it and bring it out. You know, and there I am dragging out this big, you know, trim for the car. And I just stuck, you know, here I come and I just got this thing with me. And I'll show you guys. So next time that I come, I'll bring some of the relics that we have. But bed springs, that's out in my car. I have some interesting stuff.
That'll be interesting to see what Joe feels when he goes by those locations, those spots, 20 spots or a few of them, like with the.
Well, even with those artifacts, you know, to use them just as trigger objects as well, you know.
It's a great
put
idea.
Them together and see what's up, you know, see what we feel, see what we see whatever, you know.
You guys watching, that could be like a future Saturday Night Live, and then we talk about it Monday live.
See, that's
Stay tuned. Yeah, but that's what we're gonna do next week.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Keith.
Go ahead, Eric.
No, go ahead. You still talking?
There's rebar out there, and if you date rebar when it was introduced, it all lines up to the 20s and 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It's all there.
I found one of those bricks the first time we went out there too, one of those concrete bricks, and it had an engraving in it, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly, but it was like A and B symbol on it. And I looked that up, and I found that it was one of the first concrete manufacturers that introduced the cinder block, and that was in the 20s. And those are actually collector's items because you know, you can't find them. They're in structures and stuff. But if you have like a full block, they're actually worth money. But yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. Is it lines right up to the 20s?
Everything.
So do you believe it was like cattle and ranching out there before the development blew up?
I do. And I believe that it was where they just decided to take problem kids. I do believe this. I believe that it's where they take problem kids and they just kind of put them there. So I'm going to show you something. My son was nice enough. He went outside to my car and got the box.
Oh, nice.
But, so I'm going to show you guys a couple of things. I'm not going to show everything, but I'm going to show you some bed frame pieces. So here's like springs to a bed.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Wait, there's more. You guys will see. It's blatantly obvious what this stuff is.
Well, there you go.
Oh, wow. The barbed wire?
That is actually a piece of wire. Yep, barbed wire. Now, let me show you something else. Hang on. Look at this. My former life, I was a hardware manager. That's to a bed. See this right here? This is the thing that, I'm going to try to put it on there so people can see it. See the way that the spring fits in there and it clamps it down?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a clamp that they used to use, because remember, beds used to be made of wire grid, not like they are nowadays. Nowadays, they're, you know, individually pocketed coils, blah, blah, blah. Nail.
That could be carbon dated.
Yep. That's why I have these things. And ready for this? This is
back.
Okay.
All right.
This is the surprise piece to me. Okay.
What is that?
A handlebar, like a 10-speed, right?
Oh, yeah, like an old
buried. Look at it.
Oh, wow. It's like corroded, or is that just a grip?
Remember this? Yep, where the tassels used to hang out.
Yes. The basket.
I have about 7 of these.
7
in various forms, and you can see on one of them. You could see where the thumb goes. to change the
worn
gears
out.
or whatever. Yeah, well, it's all, if if I really put it in there, it's all like calcified and corroding. And,
Wow.
I've cleaned these as much as I can to this point.
Right.
But
that's old.
These were buried and preserved in mud. We found this because Brandon owns a fencing company, so we found it with his metal detector.
So
found, a lot of, like I.
Can I ask a question about the bike parks?
Sure.
I know we don't really want to talk about the actual location, but were those all the pieces found from multiple different bicycles in the same area?
Yes.
So is it wrong for me to allude that it's possible that he had an area where he would dump all these bikes from his victims and bury them or whatever?
And why were they cut up? They literally cut up.
You can see hacksaw marks.
Not only that, I can show you guys when we go to the other place. I can show you where we found chop marks. Looks like where he was dismembering bodies.
Really?
Wow.
Now you got to remember, it's 50 years old, so you got to kind of put yourself back and realize that it's been raining and things are kind of a little bit smooth, but you can clearly see hack marks where it looks like he was chopping.
I would like to put some meters in that area and see if we get any activity.
We bring some metal detectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm gonna go rent one.
Just bring Brandon.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah. He'll just be like waving the thing and be like, dig here, dig there.
Very, very cool. Well, I think that's pretty much it, right? Let's start wrapping up.
And Keith, you're gonna have to come down to one of our investigations.
I want you guys to use me as a prop, please.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it.
I want to be scared.
All right, so Keith,
Gold
there's
Coast Road. Aerojet.
That's a spot for you.
That's spooky.
And I think we should do the Delco method with Keith out there.
We could do that.
So
you got a bike, Keith?
A bike?
Not like a full one, like not a dismembered.
No, a bicycle.
I know. Like
my girlfriend has one. Yeah, I don't have one.
No, you're gonna have to bike it like 3 miles to get.
Oh, okay. I'll get a bike then. I'll go.
It's out in the Everglades.
That's fine.
Python hunters go there and look for pythons to go python.
Oh shit, that's pretty cool.
It's haunted.
Did I just curse?
We're off the air now. So
okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, I lasted that long, so.
Yeah. Oh, bring Joe back.
Oh, all right.
Sorry about that.
Bring Tim in too.
I had a pee-pee puppy.
Hey guys.
Right. Well, I just want to let everyone know that so we're gonna change it up for our next show. Stay tuned on War Party Paranormal 2 YouTube as we're going to go live Saturday night. We're going to investigate 2 locations, the New River Inn and the King Cromartie House. And then on Monday, we'll put together all the evidence we got and we'll discuss it. Hopefully you guys watched on Saturday and did your homework to make it, more interesting. But yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Also, real quick, Keith, if people want to check out your books, they want to read them, they want to buy them, where do you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's do a clockwise shout out to ourselves.
All right, KeithRommel.com. There's my name right there on the screen, and my comic book company is BloodMoonComicsLLC.com, and I specialize in horror, of course.
Yeah, so not some of yours are fiction, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of things that are based off of a true story, but I twist it into fiction. My first crack at my nonfiction is going to be the book that I'm writing with Brandon, and I believe
about me.
Yes, and I believe what we're actually looking to do is we're going to do a documentary with the release of the book.
Oh,
so
cool.
and I'm going to talk to you guys about that at a different time because of course I want you guys to be a part of it and stuff. So
awesome.
That's for the future, not right now. So
Killer.
Cool. Awesome. Let's go to Tim.
Hey guys, great show.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Great tip of the week.
Oh,
that was my favorite part.
I'm sorry, I brought you in and brought you back. It was
that's cool. Don't worry about it.
Clueless.
Don't worry about it, man. Maybe I ran over. I don't know.
No,
I
you didn't.
never look at the clock.
Hey Tim, so
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah,
that's still here with us, if they want to find your book or any of your content, where can they find you?
It's longhairghosthunter.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. The book Ghost Hunting Getting Started is on Amazon. It's only $6, no pictures. That's why it's $6. But I delve into the equipment so deep that you don't really need pictures.
That'll be the best $6
It's got a cool cover too, though.
you've ever spent.
Yeah. So, and then next week we're going to get into like the investigation, like the prelim and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
great show, guys. Keith, thanks a lot, man. Good job.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to get Tim out there with us.
Yeah, we got to
That'd be
go,
awesome.
go out there and play, man.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Joe, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Joe Hunts Ghosts. And be looking out for my book coming out soon. It's called Paranormal Puma. In case, you guys look. Everyone was writing a book, so I felt left out.
I got no
There
books.
you go. Paranormal Puma.
I can't read.
Or L Paranormal Puma.
El Paranormal Puma.
There you go. That sounds good.
And that's like a little growl at the end.
All right, guys. And then me, I have all kinds of different social media stuff. The easiest way to find my stuff is if you go to www.fla paranormalresearcher.com, and you'll see our latest content, latest videos, and it has links and a blog as well.
Mas fuerte.
Last but not least, you got to point the opposite way.
I know it's confusing.
Right.
All right. Well, you know me, Eric. You can find me everywhere on War Party Paranormal, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can find my personal stuff on Ghost Hunter of South Florida, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And next week, or this weekend, Saturday, we'll be live on War Party Paranormal, broadcasting live a paranormal investigation. So you guys can see what we're getting live
Heck
at King Cromartie House, New River Inn. And then the next show on Monday will be what our discoveries were. And hopefully you guys both tune in and you can ask us questions on what your thoughts were from our investigation, things like that.
Yeah, guys, keep
All
an
right.
eye out for the live, and you can comment and talk to us while we're doing an investigation.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, cool. So we're gonna sign off. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you again, Keith, and thank you again, Tim.
Thanks,
Joe.
man.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, guys.
Joe, Eric, Mike.
Keith, good to see you.
Thanks,
brother.
everybody.
Good seeing you
Good night,
guys.
John Boy.
Out.
Take care, guys. Be well.
All right. Let's shut this down.